So, Legend of Korra is over now, and it looks like Korra and Asami got hot and heavy after those credits started rolling. It was obviously a parallel to the way that Avatar The Last Airbender ended with Aang and Katara kissing. Now, I don't know how many young kids still watch this show. I don't know how they're interpreting this, nor do I know how their parents could interpret this or what reaction they could have to this. But, if nothing else, I just hope that this final scene here just opens up a gate for discussion about these sort of things and how they're part of the reality. I have friends that are pretty conservative and I have friends that are pretty liberal, and I enjoy their company equally. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because whenever something like this happens on a show that has a huge viewership, okay, it's kind of impossible to form an opinion on something like this without getting your political views involved. So if you want to ask me what I think, it's very simple. I genuinely do not give a shit about the sexual orientation of a fictitious relationship. What I do care about is the functionality of any given relationship, which is why I think Korra and Asami makes way more sense than Mako and Korra ever did, romantically speaking, which is why I really liked the way things ended with Mako. You know, he's a supportive friend, a solid friend, that is always going to be there for Korra, and vice versa. I do have to say that I can see this Korrasami thing pissing people off on both sides of the spectrum. If I were extremely conservative, which I'm not, you know, I could see people being like, wait, hold on, you're pushing the gay agenda. You're taking it too far. Stop, Nickelodeon, stop. And if I were extremely liberal, which I'm not, I could see people being pissed off about the fact that they didn't show the girls kissing. So it's kind of like, wait, you're pushing the envelope, but you didn't push far enough. The story for the finale is actually very simple. First off, they try and take down the robot. Doesn't work the first time. Second time around, it works. They take it out, Kuvira and Korra have their fight, and Kuvira finds the weapon, so she blasts Korra with it. A third and final portal opens in that area, and Korra and Asami go into the spirit world, where they can be safe and gay. Or bisexual. Throughout this finale, I was actually expecting / hoping for somebody to die. In comes Mr. Sato, Asami's father. The moment he shows up, I'm like, it's over. He's the casualty of this finale. It was just so fucking obvious. I mean, he's been absent for like 2 seasons. I cannot say enough good things about the animation and the fight scenes of this show. As well as the music, that was incredible. When Korra is fighting Kuvira inside of that robot, the music was on point, reminded me of Revenge of the Sith, like some Anakin versus Obi-Wan type of deal. In fact, there's actually this one shot where Korra uses her airbending blast to push Kuvira away, but then Kuvira uses a sheet of metal to do the same thing. So they're just, you know, they're opposite ends, they just blast off. Good stuff, man. Milo with the balloons, great strategy. I would have never thought of that. That's awesome. Also, Mako looked like he was gonna die. It's funny how he always uses lightning bending. Ever since Season 3, he saves his lightning bending for the finale. Prince Wu evacuating citizens with those badger moles, which reminded me of Toph. Yeah, she wasn't in this finale. Nor was Zuko, nor was Katara, nor was the Fire Lord. So we basically know nothing about the current state of the Fire Nation in the Avatar verse. We know about the Water Tribes. We know about the Air Nomads. They're back. They're, you know, moving around. And we know that the Earth Kingdom is going to be turned into the Earth Republic thanks to Prince Wu. Also, who is Sue's dad? I read a joke from one of you guys that said that since Lin's dad is called Kanto, Sue's dad would be called Johto. So Toph had sex with 2 Pokemon regions. Barrick and Julie get married, because apparently this story was about them all along. I liked how Kuvira was a little bit more fleshed out in this episode. We got to see her be vulnerable, which is something that I've been asking for ever since the season started. It turns out it wasn't really like a search for equality. It was just like a way of her acting out from being abandoned and being an orphan. It's not something that she just wanted to see happen again with her people, with the Earth Kingdom residents. So that's why she took on this, you know, this position of power. At least that's the way it started. Then she got kind of corrupted. But the thing that really captivated me the most out of this entire season was Korra's journey and Korra's development and her growth. And I really like the fact that it seems as if she doesn't necessarily need Tenzin anymore. In fact, I think the ending kind of makes it out to be like it's not really the end. I mean, it is, but it's also like the start of a new journey for her. And she goes on with the understanding that she's going to be like this perpetual student because life itself is like a learning lesson that never really ends until we're dead. I think even Tenzin says something like, I think life itself is a bumpy road. So I like that it's the end, but it's not really the end for Korra's struggles, if that makes any sense. And I also like the fact that she just puts her suffering into perspective, which is something that very few people do, and very few people have the maturity to do, in realizing that maybe the things that we go through help us out in the end. Maybe not the way that we want them to, but they do end up forging who we are, and how you can decide to be bitter about the bad shit that happens to you that isn't your fault, or how, like, you know, with your own willpower and with a little bit of help from other people that care about you, you can move forward. And I really like the fact that the thing that Korra says that she's taken away from this experience is that she's learned to be more compassionate. Because that's really one of the best things that you can learn out of suffering. It just opens you up to like a level of empathy that, you know, a lot of people don't have, because it takes a lot of balls to be able to have that empathy and to just be compassionate to other people after things go wrong for you. So yeah, I just admire that a lot. And you know, that's the thing that really shines from the season. I actually thought that initially I was going to say that season 3 was actually a little bit better than this, but now that I've actually seen Korra's journey throughout season 4, I think they're pretty much on the same level. I think they're both equally good for different reasons. I mean, I felt like there was some material pertaining to the previous generation that could have been incorporated into this season nicely, and it wasn't. But, you know, I guess that's with everything. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good season. Those are just my thoughts, guys. Tell me yours in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching my Legend of Korra reviews. I appreciate the likes, the comments, everything that you do. Thanks a lot. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.